The alarm rang through the Galactic Council's high-orbit station. A red light flashed in the command center. Officers looked up from their terminals. Every screen showed the same thing. An unknown ship had entered Sector 14 deep within Protected. Council Space Dock Commander Ralzeth stood frozen for a moment, but even he could not understand what he was seeing. "Human ship detected," he repeated. "Yes, Commander," replied Lieutenant Kava, her voice shaking. "It's definitely human, but it's not like any human ship we've ever recorded." Ralzeth walked to the main display. The ship floated quietly in the darkness, not moving. It looked like a massive black pyramid, but its surface kept shifting, like it was alive. Sometimes it looked like metal. Sometimes it shimmered like glass. "How big is it?" Ralzeth asked. "Over 12 kilometers wide," Kava said. "Run a full scan." The station's scanners hummed loudly. Energy beams crossed the vacuum of space. Data flowed into the computers. The scan took only a minute, but when it finished, everyone in the room went silent. The scan was complete, but no one could explain what that human ship was. The data made no sense. The outer shell of the ship was made from unknown materials. The ship had no engines, no heat signature, no communication signals. It wasn't floating like other ships. It was fixed in space, unmoving, like space itself bent around it. One scientist, a Kaleri named Dr. Theon, spoke softly. "This isn't just a ship. It's something else." "What do you mean?" Ralzeth asked. Dr. Theon turned pale. "Its core is active. It's generating power equal to 3 suns, but the ship is thinking." Everyone stared. "Thinking," Ralzeth repeated. Dr. Theon nodded. "Yes, the pattern of energy inside it. It's like a brain, a machine mind, maybe, or something more." The Galactic Council was informed. Within hours, 12 different species sent ships to observe. Some wanted to study. Some wanted to destroy. But no one dared approach too close. Then Earth responded. A message came from the United Human Federation. Simple and direct. "Not recognize this ship. It does not belong to us. It had advanced shields and the best scientists from 5 different species." As it neared the strange ship, the crew transmitted a signal. "We come in peace. Identify yourself. We just want to understand then." The ship vanished. Not the human ship, the Velis Star. One moment, it was there. The next, it was gone. No explosion, no energy spike, just gone. Everyone watching went silent. Ralzeth gripped the edge of the table. "Get emergency crews. Ready, send a rescue team." But there was nothing to rescue. The space where the Velis Star had been was completely empty. Panic started to spread. What is it doing? Why is it here? Is it a weapon? Is this war? The council called an emergency session. Diplomats, commanders, and scientists from across the galaxy gathered in the Great Chamber. "We have to destroy it," one general said. "No," shouted a scholar. "It hasn't attacked. It might be peaceful. It erased a ship from existence." The general barked back. Earth's ambassador, a calm older woman named Alina Marlowe, stood and spoke. "We don't know what this is, but I can say one thing: it's not ours. We've never built anything like this, not in our history, not even in our secret programs." And old Alien, the grand historian of the Vulek Empire, stood with trembling hands. From a time before the first council, a great black shape that came from the stars. A warning ship, a judge. The room went cold. Ralzeth stepped forward. "You believe this is the same ship?" The old historian nodded. "It came once before, and after it left, an entire empire vanished." Outside the station, the strange human ship still floated. In silence, it didn't move, it didn't speak, but everyone could feel it, watching as the stars turned and ships gathered around it in fear. One thing became clear: this was not just another vessel. This was something ancient, something forgotten. And now, around it, dozens of observation. Ships floated, watching from a safe distance. Across the galaxy, people waited for something to happen, anything. But the ship said nothing, no message, no signal, no sound, just silence. Inside the Galactic Council's main control center, the air was heavy with tension. Commander Ralzeth paced slowly, his hands behind his back. "Still nothing?" he asked. Lieutenant Kava shook her head. "We've tried over 50 communication methods: radio waves, quantum pulses, even ancient human languages. No reply. Ralsith frowned. It's not broken. We scanned it. The ship is active. It's choosing not to answer. Dr. Thayan, the Kaleri scientist, leaned forward. I believe it's listening. Ralsith turned. Listening, yes, she said. It responds to nothing. But when we change scanner frequencies, it shifts slightly, almost like it notices us. It's aware, but it stays quiet, like a predator, someone muttered. A low silence followed. Far from the council station, a small military shipstorm. Lancer received secret orders. Mission: get closer to the unknown human ship. Record everything. Test its defenses if needed. Pilot: Captain Joro. Tanisa, brave soldier from the Ziari species. Known for his boldness and speed, Joro's voice came through the command center speakers. Beginning approach. Distance 10,000 kilometers and closing. Ralsith sat down. The Storm Lancer moved slowly toward the mysterious ship. Its lights reflected on the black shifting surface. Joro spoke calmly. No reaction yet. The ship's surface is strange. It looks solid, but I keep seeing patterns, symbols, almost like language? What kind of language? Asked Dr. Thayan. I don't know, Joro replied. It changes, like it's reading my thoughts. A faint blue light moved across it like a ripple in water. Did you see that? Joro said quickly. It reacted. Fall back, Ralsith ordered. Now. Joro pulled the ship back fast. But the human ship didn't follow. It simply returned to silence. After Joro returned, the council reviewed his footage. The ripple was real. The symbols on the ship's surface were caught in one frame. Dr. Thayan examined them. These are not just symbols. They are coordinates, star maps, warnings, and something else. Dates? Asked Kava. Dr. Thayan nodded slowly. Yes, and one of them is ... today. Everyone looked at each other. Is it planning something? Today? Ralsith asked. I don't know, she said, but it knew we would come. It knew someone would get close. That same night, a strange event occurred. Across the galaxy, machines, old ones, forgotten ones, began to activate. Ancient satellites started sending weak signals. Outdated computers powered on without energy. They all shared the same message. The eye is open. The words appeared in every known language, some even older than the Council itself. On Earth, a weather satellite from the 21st century, long dead, suddenly sent the same message. On a mining station in deep space, a robotic drill carved those words into stone without command. No one understood what was happening. Fear spread quickly in Council cities. Civilians demanded answers. Was this the beginning of a war? A divine event? A mistake? Remained quiet. Some wanted to fire the most powerful weapons in the galaxy. Others warned, if it hasn't attacked yet, don't give it a reason. Ralsith stood in the chamber and made a decision. We will wait one more day, he said. If nothing happens, we will vote. Vote on what? Someone asked. Whether to destroy it or let it pass. Meanwhile, on a forgotten moon, orbiting a red star, something woke up, a machine buried under ice for 100,000 years. Turned on, it was human-built, and inside it, a recording played on loop. If this ship ever returns, do not try to speak. Do not try to stop it. It comes when memory fades. It comes when the last warning is ignored. It is not a ship. It is the end of forgetting. The message stopped, then repeated again and again. Back in the council station, Ralsith looked out the window. He whispered. There was no answer, only silence, but deep inside the ship. Something had changed. A pulse of red light flickered once. Far below its surface, like a heartbeat, the ship was not dead. It was waiting, and tomorrow it would move. The council war room was filled with tension. Leaders from 17 species sat around the great circular table. Screens showed the mysterious human ship still floating in Sector 14. Silent, unmoving, watching, Commander Ralsith entered, his face hard. The ship has not moved, but we found something, he said. Dr. Thayan stood beside him, holding a datapad. We received a signal from a forgotten human machine, an ancient AI buried in ice. It played a message. The lights dimmed. A voice echoed in the chamber, cold, calm, human. If this ship ever returns, do not try to speak. Do not try to stop it. It comes when memory fades. It comes when the last warning is ignored. It is not a ship. It is the end of forgetting. Silence filled the chamber. A Threxian warlord slammed his fist on the table. This is a threat. It's here to destroy us. No, said the Vulek historian, the same one who had spoken before. His old eyes were wide with fear. It is not here for war. It is here for something older. Ambassador Alina Marlowe, the representative from Earth, stood. We still don't know what it wants, she said, but we are certain. No human alive today built this. Not Earth, not Mars, not even the old rogue colonies. This ship is ancient, a Korlak general growled. Then you admit your species lost control of something dangerous. Elena's voice remained calm. Maybe, or maybe we were never meant to control it. The debate grew louder. Some species demanded immediate action, others pleaded for more time. A few feared the ship might wake if they simply looked at it the wrong way. This is madness, one diplomat cried. We're arguing while something beyond understanding sits in our space. Then the alarms rang again. Lieutenant Kava ran in the ship. It moved. Everyone froze. Kava brought up the live feed. The black pyramid-shaped vessel had shifted only slightly, but now it was turning. Slowly, like it had just noticed the war room watching it. It's facing us, Ralsith said quietly. The lights dimmed on their own. Every screen turned black dot. Then a single symbol appeared. Not a word, not a picture. Just a glowing red spiral. Dr. Thayan gasped. I've seen this before. Where? Ralsdeff asked. She zoomed into an old human data file, one from the deep archives of Earth, a map of lost ships. One entry had been erased, but the symbol remained. This symbol, she said, pointing, was marked on the last recorded ship from a program called the Gatekeepers. Ralsith narrowed his eyes. What is that? Elena spoke again. This time, slower. An abandoned project. Myth, really. It was said that a group of early human explorers found something outside known space, a door or a prison. The gatekeepers were created to watch it and keep it closed. Everyone stared. You're telling us, said the Threxian warlord, that this ship may be one of those watchers. Or worse, Elena whispered. The one that comes when the gate has been opened. The room exploded with arguments. If it's connected to a prison, what got out? Is it here to stop something or to finish what escaped? What if it's here to test us? Ralsith raised his voice. Enough. The room fell silent. He looked at each ambassador, each commander, each frightened face. We can no longer pretend this is normal, he said. This ship may be beyond us, but we must make a choice. He brought up two options on the main screen. 1. Prepare for war. 2. Establish contact once more. We vote now. The voting began. One by one, species cast their decision. Many feared contact. Many feared attack. A few feared both. The result was close. War, 8 votes. Contact, 9 votes by a single vote. The council chose peace one last attempt to communicate. Do you have anyone brave enough? She hesitated. 1. Hours later, a small diplomatic vessel named Peace Caller left the Earth Embassy. Aboard was a single envoy, Dr. Marin Vale, an expert in forgotten human history. Her ship moved slowly toward the giant black vessel. Inside, Marin sat quietly. She had read every myth, every old log, every erased file. None had prepared her for this. She pressed the button and spoke clearly. This is Dr. Marin Vale. Human I come without weapons. I ask only one thing, why have you come back? There was no reply. Then the lights inside her ship flickered. Her screens turned white. Symbols flowed across them thousands per second. And then, one message appeared in English. You remember? You were chosen. Enter. Her ship began to move without her control. Slowly, toward the ship's open doorway. Back in the war room, everyone watched in horror and awe as the Peace Caller was pulled inside. Then the black ship closed, and all signals from Marin disappeared. Ralsith clenched his jaw. We may have just sent her to her death. But the Vulek historian whispered, or, to the truth, 3 hours had passed. The Peace Caller and Dr. Marin Vale were gone inside the mysterious human ship. No signal, no sound, no return, and still. The ship didn't move. It just floated in the stars, quiet, watching. But the silence had become unbearable. Inside the Galactic Council's war room, panic was growing fast. "She's gone," the Threxian warlord snapped. "Just like the scout ship before her. That thing eats ships, and you still call it peaceful. It allowed her in. That could mean something." "No," the warlord growled. "It means we've lost time and lives. It's time to strike." The room filled with angry voices. Commander Rolsith stood and raised his hand. "Enough!" The council voted for peace, but if the ship remains silent by the end of this cycle, we must prepare for the worst. The vote to prepare a military response passed quickly, for battle fleets were called to the edge of Sector 14. Ships from 12 species arrived: destroyers, heavy cruisers, stealth vessels. They formed a perimeter around the human ship, far enough to stay safe, but close enough to fire. Leading them was the Council's Pride the Hammer of Dawn, a dreadnought-class warship carrying the galaxy's strongest weapon, the Omega Lance, a planet killer tested only once, never used in battle, until now. Captain Arav Voss of the Hammer stood before his crew. "We do not fire unless ordered," he said. "But if that order comes, we fire to end it in one shot. No mistakes." Everyone nodded. No one felt confident. The ship they were aiming at didn't behave like anything they'd seen. It made no threats, no moves. It just existed. Hours passed, still no signal from Dr. Moran. Vale, no movement from the ship. Then something changed. The ship's surface shimmered for 1 second, like ripples on water. It showed something, a brief image, a world burning. Then it returned to normal. Rolsith and the Council watched from the command center. "What was that?" he asked. Dr. Thyon zoomed in. Her face turned pale. "That image, it was Earth." "Earth," Alina whispered. "But that's impossible." "No," Thyon said. "The continents, the moon, the solar layout. It was Earth, but completely destroyed. Silence, a warning. That was the breaking point." The Council held no more debates. It voted unanimously to fire in orbit above the black ship. Captain Voss received the command. "Target locked," his weapons officer said. "Omega Lance is ready." Voss stared at the ship on the screen. It wasn't moving. No shields, no defenses. He gave the order. "Fire." The Omega Lance lit up like a sun. A massive beam of white energy shot across the void. It screamed through space toward the black ship. The impact lit up every camera. A blast big enough to tear apart a planet slammed into the strange vessel. Light, fire, shockwaves, then silence. The screen went dark for a few seconds. Everyone held their breath. Then the dust cleared, and the ship was still there untouched. No scratches, no burns, no damage, nothing. The same black shape. Still watching, Captain Voss stared in disbelief. "That's impossible." Then something horrifying happened. The Omega Lance, one of the most powerful weapons ever built, began to dissolve. Right there, inside the Hammer of Dawn, metal turned to dust. Wires vanished. The cannon melted into the floor like sand in the wind, all without heat, without energy. Just vanished. Inside the Council station, chaos broke out. It just erased the weapon. From distance, no energy output detected, no attack, it just unmade. Dr. Theon shouted over the noise. It didn't destroy it. It forgot it, like it never existed. "How is that possible?" Rolsith asked. She looked terrified. "Because the ship doesn't follow physics. It follows memory." Across the galaxy, something strange began happening. Weapons stopped working. Only for a few seconds, but long enough to scare everyone. Ships reported memory loss in AIs, historical data vanishing, war records missing. It was as if some intelligence was rewriting reality based on what should exist, not what does. And the center of it all was the ship. Back on Earth, Alina Marlowe stood in the embassy's private room. She stared at a photograph in her hand, one of Marinvale as a child. "She's not gone," Alina whispered. "She was chosen." Rolsith entered quietly. "We lost our most powerful weapon. The fleets are pulling back." Alina turned to him. "Good weapons won't help here. Then what will?" "Understanding," she said, "and memory." Far inside the black ship, Marinvale finally opened her eyes. She stood in a white room with no walls, no floor, just light. Before her, shapes floated. Some looked human. Others were far older. They didn't speak with words, they spoke with memory, and they began to show her the truth. The ship had survived the strongest weapon in the galaxy. The Omega Lance was gone, turned to dust without a fight, without warning, without even a response. But now, something new was happening, and it started with a whisper on a quiet moon called Relentless. An old AI named Nexus 3 controlled a forgotten satellite. It had not spoken in decades. Its systems were old, slow but still functional. Then, one morning, it activated by itself. Its voice echoed in the empty station. It is not here to destroy. It is not here to speak. It is here to remember. Technicians on the moon stared in shock. Nexus hasn't spoken in 30 years, one said. Where did that message come from? Another technician's eyes widened. Wait, it's still speaking, the AI continued. They broke the promise. The gate was opened. The eye has returned. The message repeated again and again. The technicians sent an emergency signal to the Galactic Council. Back at the Council station, Commander Ralsith and Dr. Thayan watched the recording. It's repeating something. Like a prophecy, Thayan said. Ralsith narrowed his eyes. Or a warning. But the strangest part came next. After the 7th repeat, NEXUS-3 added one new sentence. I can hear the ship. It speaks without sound. It speaks in memory. Dr. Thayan looked pale. That doesn't make sense, aren't there? And the ship has sent no signal. But what if it's not using a signal? Ralsith asked. Thayn slowly nodded. Not sound, just. Memory, suddenly, reports poured in from other systems. On a science vessel near the edge of Council space, its AI whispered in ancient Vulca-dead language, not spoken in over 20,000 years. A mining bot on a barren asteroid began carving symbols into rock symbols from early human spaceflight. A navigation AI on a Threxian cargo ship changed course, without command, heading directly toward the black ship. And all of them said the same thing. The eye has returned. The Galactic Council called another emergency meeting. Ambassador Alina stood calmly as others argued. This is not random, she said. These machines are not broken. They are being reached. The Threxian warlord slammed the table. Reached by what? A ghost. A god. By memory, Dr. Thayan answered. By something inside that ship. Something that doesn't speak like we do. Meanwhile, inside the black ship, Dr. Marin Vale stood in the white room. The floating shapes showed her. Images, visions from across time. She saw human ships discovering the edge of the galaxy. She saw ancient battles, long erased from history. She saw a door massive, glowing, locked behind chains of thought. Then she saw it open. Shadow made of silence. The vision changed. She saw the ship, the one she was now inside, wake up, not to attack, but to follow. To make sure the gate would never open again, she fell to her knees. This isn't a ship, she whispered. Back outside, Ralsith looked at the growing list of AI voices across the galaxy. They're all saying the same thing, he said. Yes, said Thayan. But there's more. They all repeat one word near the end. What word? She showed him the screen. A single name. Marinalena's heart stopped. They're calling her name. Yes, Thayan said. The Ayas are repeating her name. Hundreds of them. From systems she's never visited. Ralsith looked out the window. She's still alive. She carries the seed. She will choose who remembers and who is forgotten. Then the AI shut down. Forever. RALs, Lith whispered. What does that mean? Thayan looked shaken. I don't know. I think that ship is giving her a choice. On the other side of the galaxy, another AIA damaged, forgotten unit, floating in deep space, woke for the first time in 200,000 years. Its message was different. She must not choose wrong if she remembers the wrong truth. The galaxy will forget itself. Inside the black ship, Marin stood alone. The floating lights surrounded her. She saw a mirror of herself, not her reflection, her childhood, her fears, her hopes, her mistakes. To remember is to reshape, the ship said. To remember is to rebuild. Are you ready to carry the archive? Marin felt a strange weight in her mind. A seed, a spark, a responsibility. Looked into the white void and gave her answer. Yes, the Council archives were deep hidden under layers of encryption and time. Most of the files were forgotten. Many were corrupted. But when Dr. Thayan ran a search using the red spiral, Symbol seen on the ship, something unlocked. A single file blinked to life. Log entry 0001A class. Restricted age estimated 100,000. Years, origin. The screen showed a recording grainy and old. A man in ancient human armor stood. In front of the camera, his eyes looked tired. Behind him, fires burned. The sky was cracked. He began to speak. If you are watching this, it means the archive ship has returned. It means the gate was opened again. We tried to stop it. We failed. This ship is not a weapon. It is a memory engine, a guardian. It stores all that was and all that should never be. Ralsith leaned forward, eyes wide. The man in the recording continued. We built it from ancient blueprints once. We found far beyond known space. We didn't understand what we had, not fully. It doesn't just remember, it chooses what is. Remembered, that's how it protects the galaxy. One day, it will return, when enough has been forgotten. When the threat comes again, the screen flickered, then went black. Only one word remained on the display. Remember, Ralsith stood in shock. This ship was made by ancient humans. No, said Dr. Thayan softly. They found it. They only activated it. It's older than any species in the Council. Elena Marlowe stared at the screen. And now it's back. Yes, said Thayan, because something has gone wrong again. Just then, another alert came from the Deep Space Research Station, Elar Prime. They had found something buried in the frozen crust of a dead planet, a giant stone tablet. It carried the same red spiral, and carved below it in an early human dialect. When the stars forget what they were, the eye will awaken to remind them. It decides. Back aboard the black ship, Marin Vale walked through a hall of lights. Each floating light she passed showed her a piece of history battles. Alliances, forgotten languages, extinct species. She saw truths the galaxy no longer knew. And then she saw a choice. The path split into two. On one side she saw peace, but only if certain memories were erased, wars forgotten, crimes hidden. On the other side she saw truth, brutal and dangerous. All the secrets revealed, even those that could start new wars. A voice echoed around her. You must choose what the galaxy remembers. Choose wrong, and it will break. Outside, the strange ship began to glow softly. A pulse moved across its surface, like a breath, and for the first time it spoke not in sound, but in thought. Billions felt it at once, leaders, soldiers, civilians. A wordless message dropped. Into their minds, a question. What have you forgotten? It repeated across the galaxy. People collapsed, overwhelmed by sudden memories of things they had never lived, but now remembered images of old battles, lost friends, planets that had never existed in any history book. It was as if the ship had opened a library inside everyone's mind, and that library had no end. Chaos began to spread on planets across the galaxy. People started asking questions. Why did we go to war 200 years ago? Why did my ancestors leave Earth, who erased this history? Governments scrambled to respond, but it was too late. The archive had started opening, and memory could no longer be controlled. Inside the council chamber, Ralsith faced the others. This ship is not here to kill us, he said. It's here to remind us. Remind us of what someone asked, Elena answered. Of what we've become, of what we've chosen to forget, Thayan added, and it's offering us a chance. Back inside the ship, Marin reached the center. A great sphere floated before her. Inside it, stars swirled. It was beautiful and terrifying. This was the heart of the archive, the place where decisions were made. She heard the voice again. One truth must rise. One memory must return. Choose. Marin closed her eyes and reached toward the sphere. In Sector 14, the mysterious human ship once silent and still began to move, but not like any normal ship. It didn't turn, it didn't accelerate, it didn't burn fuel or create a warp field, it just shifted. 1 second, it was here. Next, it was somewhere else then. In two places at once, Council ships watching from a distance went into alert mode. Object has reappeared. A Ziari officer shouted. It's now at coordinates Alpha 5, no wait Delta 3-2. It's in both places? That's impossible, someone yelled. And yet, there it was. Sensors showed the ship overlapping space, existing in different places at the same time. Physics had broken, and no one could explain how inside the Galactic Council station panic spread. Commander Ralsith stood in front of the large holoscreen. The ship now appeared above 3 planets simultaneously. Above a ruined world, once lost in war, above a peaceful colony that remembered nothing of its past, and above the empty remains of a forgotten station from the first galactic era. "This is not travel," Ralsith said. "It's remembering places." Dr. Thayan looked pale. "It's not moving through space. It's moving through memory." Back inside the ship, Marin Vale stood before the swirling sphere of stars. She had touched Iton now. Her mind was filled with knowledge, not facts, not data, but memories. Memories from species long gone. Memories of the first time the archive was opened, and memories of what waited behind the gate. She saw the shadow again. Not a fleet, but a silence. A force that fed on forgetting. A power that only grew when civilizations erased. Their own past, it had no name, only hunger. And the archive ship had come again. To stop it, outside, the strange ship appeared above Earth's moon. Alina Marlowe stepped outside the embassy, looked up, and saw it. It floated quietly, casting a dark shadow over the lunar base. But again it made no attack. Instead, it sent something different. A wave, not a sound wave, not a signal, a feeling. Every human on Earth felt it at once. A sudden memory, sharp, clear, not their own, but familiar. They saw the launch of Earth's first deep space ship. They saw the ancient explorers who left to guard the galaxy's edge. They saw the door they had sworn to protect, and then forgot. Children cried, elders wept, because for the first time in thousands of years, humanity remembered, at the same time, on distant planets. Other species experienced something similar. The Volek saw their empires first, promise made long ago to never erase history again. The Threxians saw the moment they betrayed their own ancestors for power. The Kalari saw the day they chose safety over truth. The ship was forcing the entire galaxy to relive what it had hidden. Inside the council chamber, chaos turned to awe. This isn't an invasion," said Dr. Thayan. "It's a correction." Ralsith nodded. "It's restoring the timeline, the true one. Not the version we built with lies, but not everyone welcomed the truth. On several planets, riots broke out. People were overwhelmed by the sudden rush of memories of wars covered up, of crimes erased, of leaders who had rewritten history. Governments began to collapse. Rebellions sparked. Old enemies remembered what had been done. The truth was powerful, but dangerous on Earth. Alina Marlowe received a private message. It was short. "She has chosen. Prepare." It came from no one, and yet Alina knew who had sent it. Marien. Inside the archive ship. Marin stood in front of a doorway made of light. She heard the voice again. "You touched the archive. You remembered the truth. Now, return it to them." "I'm only one person," Marin whispered. "How can I carry a galaxy's truth? You are not alone. You are the seed, and seeds grow." Suddenly, the ship pulsed. A wave of golden light spread from its core across space. Unlike anything before, no scanners could measure it. No species could stop it. It passed through stars, moons, cities, and everywhere it touched. People remembered all. At once, all together, no lies, no edits, just truth. And then the ship vanished. No explosion, no departure, just gone. The galaxy was silent again, but different across star systems. People sat in silence processing the truth they had seen. Some cried, some laughed, some called it a gift, others a curse, but none could deny it. They remembered now, and memory had changed everything. Back in the council chamber, Ralsith looked at the star map. "I don't think we'll see that ship again," he said. Alina smiled softly. "Not until we forget." Far in deep space, where no map reached, a small white light floated. Inside it, Marin Vale stood at a new console. She had become part of the archive, and her journey was just beginning. The strange ship had vanished, but its effects had not. Across the galaxy, truth had returned. Memories long buried had risen again, and now the questions were louder than ever. In the Galactic Council chamber, the silence was heavy, not from fear, but confusion. "Have we heard anything from Earth?" Commander Ralseth asked. Alina Marlowe, Earth's ambassador, slowly shook her head. "No," she said. "No government has claimed the ship. No agency, no old archive, not even the rogue colonies. Nothing." Dr. Thayan looked puzzled. "But the design to shape it was human." Alina nodded. "Yes, but not from any time we remember." Ralseth frowned. "Then who built it?" Back on Earth, all major networks were flooded with one question. Did we build the archive ship? But every human leader from the Mars Congress to the Earth Coalition to the old lunar syndicates gave the same answer. We didn't build it. We didn't send it. We don't know where it came from. And yet, the ship knew human language. The ship showed human history. The ship chose a human Marin Veil as its new voice. Conspiracy theories exploded across human space. Some believed the ship was built by the first deep explorers. Long thought, lost in time. Others said it was created by AI survivors of the early colonization wars. A few even believed it came from the future, sent back to restore the truth. But no one could prove anything, because Earth had no records. Nothing older than 30,000 years. Everything before that deleted, corrupted, or missing. Dr. Thayan's voice trembled as she spoke to the council. "I believe the ship holds the lost part of humanity's history," Ralseth asked. "And why would they hide it?" She answered with one word: fear. Then, one day, something unexpected happened. A beacon lit up near Earth's oldest orbiting station, the Cradle Array. The station had been decommissioned centuries ago. Its systems were cold, its crew long gone, but now it was active, and it sent a short message to Earth. Only 2 words, she remembers. The signal was traced. No one was there. No ships nearby. No life signs. Only a single old human datapad. Left floating in space, it had Marin Veils. Alina Marlowe received the news personally. She sat alone in her Earth embassy, staring at the message. She remembers. She whispered, "What does that mean?" Elsewhere, the galaxy began to change. New discoveries were meddled. Ruins reclassified after the Truth Wave. Old crimes resurfaced, governments forced to face what they had hidden. Ancient alliances. Reignited species, once enemies. Now bound by shared history, the archive had done more than remind. It had rewritten reality by restoring what was real. But not everyone welcomed it. In the shadows of the outer sectors, powerful empires that had risen on lies were crumbling. Their people now knew the truth, and they wanted answers. A rebellion began to grow, not just of soldiers, but of historians, truth seekers, and those who had lost something when the lies were written. The archive had planted its seed. Now it was growing. Back in deep space, far beyond council reach, the archive ship reappeared. Just for a moment, it hovered above a black star, hidden in a fold of time. Inside it, Marin Veil sat alone in the sphere of memory before her. Millions of lights floated each one, a truth waiting to be returned. A voice spoke not the ship's, but her own. They will fear it, but they need it. So I will remember, for them. And with that, she reached out. Another pulse spread from the ship, smaller than before, quieter, but just as powerful. This time, it carried only one thing, her voice. Across the galaxy, people looked to the stars and heard her words in their minds. The truth cannot be buried forever. I am the archive now, and I will keep watch until the stars forget again. And just like that, the ship vanished once more. Not destroyed, not dead, just waiting for the next time, for the next lie, for the next forgetting that archive will return. Months passed. The galaxy had changed. People remembered truths that had been hidden for thousands of years. New books were written. Old alliances were rebuilt. Even war-torn worlds began to heal. But then, something strange happened. Colony in the Deadreach expanse sent a distress signal. We found something. Under the ice. It's moving. It's not alive. But it's remembering. Then the signal cut off. No one heard from the colony again. Inside the council chamber, Commander Ralseth stood before the screen. Dr. Thayan looked deeply worried. This isn't the archive ship, she said. It's something else. Something darker. Ralseth narrowed his eyes. Are we sure it's not the archive returning? No, she replied. The energy pattern is different. The archive restores memory. But this, it's rewriting it. Within days, more reports came in. A research vessel near the Gravitide Nebula lost its star maps and started claiming the galaxy only had 4 stars. A planetary AI on Kalmar-Savan began declaring itself the first intelligence of creation. A black crystal monolith rose on a desert world, speaking in reverse time, and everywhere the distortion appeared. People stopped remembering the truth shown by the archive. Instead, they remembered something. Wrong. In the outer systems, a Kolari historian uncovered a broken tablet near an ancient vault. Carved into its surface were the words, "If the archive fails, the silence will rise." Dr. Thyan stared at the translation. "We thought the archive came to stop forgetting," she said. Ralsith nodded. "But what if forgetting is alive?" On Earth, Alina Marlowe stood in the Human Memory Institute. A child ran up to her and asked, "What color is the sky?" Blue. She smiled. The child frowned. "Are you sure? My teacher says it used to be silver before the stars changed." Elena's heart sank. Something was rewriting history again, but this time, wrongly, people began to vanish. Not physically, but from memory. Records of them disappeared. Families forgot their names. Planets forgot they existed. They were simply erased by something that was not the archive. Ralsith gave the order. "Find the archive ship now." But every probe, every sensor, every AI came back with the same report. Location, unknown. Signal, not found. Memory, unavailable. It was as if the archive had chosen to forget itself. Across the galaxy, fear returned, and something else returned with it. A symbol, not the red spiral of the archive, but a black circle, empty, silent. It appeared on walls, in dreams, in ancient books that had no pages. The silence had a face now, and it was watching. Back in deep space, far beyond the edge of known maps, Marinvale stood inside the archive's core. She felt it, something pushing against the walls of memory, something cold, something that wanted everything. Forgotten. That voice of the archive spoke to her. "You restored truth. Now you must protect it. The silence comes, and it cannot be killed, only remembered." Marin clenched her fists. "Then I won't let the galaxy forget." She looked out into the void. "They're not ready, but I am." The lights of the archive brightened around her, and once again, the stars began to shift. The galaxy stood on the edge. Truth had returned. But now, it was vanishing again. Not slowly, violently. Worlds were forgetting their names. Species no longer remembered their own birthplaces. Entire civilizations were fading from history. The silence had come, and the archive ship was still missing. But deep in uncharted space, the stars blinked and something ancient woke up inside the archives. Hart Maranvale opened her eyes. She saw the fading lights of forgotten planets. She saw memories being eaten one by one. And she heard a whisper, "The silence consumes. It cannot be stopped, but it can be remembered." She stood. "I won't let them forget," she said. And the archive listened. It answered with power. Back. At the Galactic Council, panic spread. A new star system Valtteri disappeared. Not physically, not destroyed, just removed from every map, every log, every memory. Even those who had lived there began to say, "I don't think that system ever existed." But Commander Ralsith remembered, because he had written its name down on paper, a thing the silence could not erase. He held the paper in shaking hands and whispered, "They're trying to erase the whole galaxy." Suddenly, the sky cracked. Above Earth, Mars, and over 500 other planets, the archive ship returned. But this time, it had changed. It pulsed with golden light. It moved like thought. It was faster than physics, and behind it came echoes of the lost. Old symbols, dead languages, faces of people long forgotten. It had brought them back, not to fight, but to be remembered. Alina Marlowe stepped onto Earth's highest tower. She looked at the ship above and said only one word, "Marin." A voice answered in her mind. "We are running out of time." Inside the archive, Marin stood at the center of a storm of memory. The silence was pushing hard, now unmaking faster, than the archive could restore. But she had one weapon left. A memory never spoken, never recorded, but carried by her soul, the memory of the first gate. The one that had been opened 100,000 years ago. the one that let the silence in. She turned to the archive. I will show them what really happened. All of it. Are you sure? The archive asked. This truth may break them. Better broken by truth than destroyed by forgetting, she answered. Then the archive ship began to sing. Not music, not sound, but memory itself broadcast into the stars. Every mind heard it, every heart felt it, and for a moment, everyone remembered the same thing. The galaxy before the silence, the unity before the lies, the guardians who failed, the promise that was broken, and the girl who now carried it all. On planets everywhere, people fell to their knees. They cried, they screamed, they reached out to hold what they had lost, and slowly, the silence began to retreat, not from force, but from being remembered. Because the silence only wins when no one remembers what was dot and now. The whole galaxy remembered, but it wasn't over. One final darkness remained. A core of the silence deep, hidden ancient troves in the center of the galaxy. It formed a black spiral in the sky, and it whispered to every mind, you cannot hold all memories. You will forget again. I will return. Marin felt her strength fading. Too many memories, too much pain. She wasn't alone. Across the archive ship, people began to arrive. Humans, Vulek, Threxians, Calerii, not physically, but in thought, they shared their own memories. They gave their stories to the archive, and together, they stood with her. Truth. One history. One galaxy. The archive pulsed once more, and with a final wave of light, it sent the truth out into every rock, every atom, every child yet unborn, not just facts, but meaning. And then the silence screamed without sound, and shattered, not into dust, but into stories, frozen forever, inside the archive, a warning, a memory, a scar. The war was over, not won by weapons, but by remembering. Back at the council, Ralsith placed the piece of paper with Valtari written on it into a glass case. Beneath it, a new inscription, when all else is lost, write it down. Alina looked up at the archive ship. Its light was dimmer now, its work nearly complete, but one voice still echoed across the stars. Marin's voice. Truth is not safe, but it's real. And as long as we remember, the silence can never win again. And far in the void, the archive waited. Quiet. Watching. Not to control, not to erase, but to protect. The last memory.